Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the Quit Bugging Me event in which the bugbear is added into the game. There were also a few troop changes and just rebalances that occurred. I'll be going over those as well, but first let's get into the bugbear. As far as the brown-green trade stones that he has, you'd want to use that to upgrade your Soothsayer. Other than that, for later game options, you'd want to put it on your Salvini Mora. As far as this troop, kind of interesting ability. It deals physical damage, but is boosted based on how much life the enemy is missing. It's not too significant as far as how much damage it's going to be doing, but it does have a very nice extra turn on top of that, like all goblins do. It is indeed a goblin. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be used with quite a few different goblin setups. It could be used in replacements of a couple other goblins. Really just depends on if you want that high single damage burst, because out of every single goblin, he does have the highest single target damage on him. So he'll probably be used for that mainly just within goblin teams. Don't really see much use for him with other orcs, though he does have orc bond, goblin bond. There's not any other orc goblin other than him, so he won't be able to utilize that much. And he does have armored if you happen to get him all the way up on his traits. Most of these traits you don't really need. He doesn't really utilize them too well. Even the armored trait you won't really use unless you happen to be using him in first slot, which is 50% this week. You may be doing. As far as his stats, it's pretty much just even right down the center as far as his stats are concerned. But there were a couple troop changes that have just occurred today during this week's event. One that is particularly interesting. As far as these, they all just got a 50% chance to devour up from their previous 40%. They each have a percent chance to devour something. Dragon Crunchers for dragons, Elf Eaters for elves, and Gob Chomper is for goblins. All of them are just 50% now instead of 40, so you'll have that nice even 50-50 as far as your chance on it. But here are all of the other ones, which are much more significant. The most interesting of which is Sheggra. Sheggra. Ability exactly the same, mana cost exactly the same, but it has finally gotten rid of its useless traits. It used to just be able to burn the first troop, and then it had a legendary trait that if it got hit by skulls, it would just burn them right back. But now it has two really useful traits. Power Mania, meaning it'll do twice as much damage whenever the enemy is burning, as long as it is the one doing the skull damage. And its final trait of Molten, being able to place a burn every single time you match red gems. The main thing that always made Yerl just slightly better than Sheggra as far as actually trading it is the fact that Yerl could indeed burn the entire enemy team. But now Sheggra can do the exact same thing, plus it has that nice Power Mania, so when it gets the Skull Spam off, it'll actually be able to utilize that, because Sheggra, for something that has Skull Spam, has a really low base attack. But now that it can do twice as much to enemies that are burned, it'll be much more viable of a troop. It does have a refund available because it is a little bit less of a tank now that it can't just automatically burn the enemy. But overall, it is a buff, not a nerf. Luther, really nice buff to Luther, especially for all of you newer players who this may be your only epic, or a lot of people who just kind of plop him in team not really knowing. Well, now he's actually going to be somewhat viable to use in a team. He has a 1 higher base magic, so he's always going to be doing 1 additional attack compared to what he previously did. If you have him to level 19, he's also going to be gaining an additional magic on top of that for 2 additional magic, which is what mine does now, 20 attack. Whereas last week it was only 18. Plus he has leadership, but that's always been there. And he has one of the main changes is he has a 2 lower mana cost. He used to be a 13 mana cost. Now he is only 11, making it a lot quicker. You'll be able to get him pretty much a whole turn quicker than what you used to be able to. So that's pretty huge, being able to save that turn on him to be able to get a even higher attack buff. So might be seeing some more Luther. Taraxis also got a pretty nice buff. It now has a 2-to-1 ratio instead of a 3-to-1 as far as the blues that it converts to brown. The other change it got is it now has a 13 mana cost instead of its previous 14. So now it'll probably be used with things like Behemoth and just feeding browns a bit more, whereas before it kind of just fell off a little bit, wasn't really used that much. But we'll definitely be seeing Taraxis a bit more with that lower mana cost. Whenever they lower the mana cost of anything, it tends to get used quite a bit more. Even the slightest bit of mana cost can really make a troop viable. And the final one, this was expected from a mile away. Ketris the Bull did get a slight buff. Nothing too special. If you don't have it, you don't really need to worry. All it has now is a 2-to-1 ratio instead of a 3-to-1 ratio. Not really anything too huge, but at least now it can actually one-shot like it's supposed to, whereas before it could barely do like any damage at all. So let's go into a team or two now. Going to be doing, of course, the new event troop, and I will be doing a Sheggra build because there's a lot we can do with Sheggra now. I might need to start using it quite a bit. I didn't really, you may have noticed, like all Dragon Week, I don't even think I used a single Sheggra. But now that I got buffed, it's definitely very, very viable. It's almost on par, I would say, with, I was trying it a little earlier, and it's almost on par with what Bone Dragon is now. And I don't think they're really nerfing it anymore, so... Well, Bone Dragon they are, but Sheggra I don't think they are for a while. That's kind of interesting. Unfortunately, this is a Zaejin week, which means only the Goblin is in the drop pool, the Goblin King, and he is a pretty useless troop. So there isn't really any need to do event keys this week. But that'd be really cool if Sheggra was in the pool. I forget exactly off the top of my head, because I don't have it up right now, when the next Broken Spire event is, but we'll definitely want that for the Sheggra if you don't have it. But unfortunately, it's not now. And just a useless Goblin King. I'm not even probably going to bother doing a Goblin King build. I'm really, really surprised they didn't bother rebalancing it in this particular patch, but they may do it for the 3.0 patch. They did mention in the post that they are going to be making some changes in the future that kind of need the 3.0 patch. I don't know if Goblin King will be related in that, but we'll have to see when it comes out. Anyways, we'll be able to throw this guy out. We can see we have some HP damage on him. It's probably not too much though. We'll just throw this over here, maybe get some kind of cascade going. And there we go, skull, that's pretty good. Oh, it did hit the right target. Can't really use the boost ratio though because it's already gonna die. So we'll hold it for a while. Though if worse comes to worse, we can poke it down if we really have to. Okay, we'll use it. Oh gosh, both of them will die in one shot. We don't even get to show his boost ratio. He does have an extra turn, so I probably should just throw it already. And we'll just throw that goblin. Throw it at the dragon soul right there. Get ourselves a little bit more mana anywhere here if we can. Well, we can drop that for the yellow, I guess. We'll go into just that. The little split damage will kill it. We'll get another goblin rocket up off of this end, and we'll just explode it into probably the kill right there, it looks like. Though it does have stone skin, so it won't be dead yet. Maybe we can finally utilize his ability because we are going to be able to get that up in a moment. Actually, we can get it up right now. The only problem is it doesn't have any HP damage on it. Another kind of small problem with him, synergy-wise, is there's no goblins that do true damage. So he's kind of out of luck there since he boosts based on how much HP they're missing. Normally, it's not that good to mix HP or physical damage with true damage, and he kind of does utilize both on both of them. But we'll just throw that down, throw down the punch, and there we go. And of course, he is a goblin. He does gains extra turns, so we don't really need to worry about wasting his ability like that. So there we go. He is the highest damage of any goblin for targeting down a single troop. So that's mainly what he's going to be used for. He's just the KO, basically. Whenever you need that last KO on a goblin team, he'll be used for that. And now let's actually get something a little bit harder than this to try this out. So let's see if we can get a reroll of some kind. Oh, yes, that is decently stronger. Plus, we get to see what Traxxas is like if he even gets a cast off. But here we go. I'm going to be running with Sheggra, Mercy, Hellcat, and Courage. If you don't have a Mercy, you probably could get away with doing a Apothecary. But yeah, normally I wouldn't set double red on a team like this, especially since Sheggra denies it all. But we should be able to utilize it pretty well if we can get a good enough start, which it looks like we actually have a pretty good start. We won't be able to get a good Mercy cast off, but he's just going to be distracted with a skull, so not much I really need to worry about over there. We'll just poke on the skull, and then we can really get flowing. If he just hits those browns, let's see, is that... Yeah, that's an extra turn. I don't know if we can get multiple, but we'll just take that, start getting our burns, and it's per red pair. It's not even like a Yarrow where it's per extra turn. All we have to do is take red pairs, and they're gonna burn. So burn, another burn, and yeah, we don't even need the extra turns. And of course, we want the extra turns because that'd be a lot more helpful, but it's not really a necessity. And we can just keep throwing down the Mercies, get those nice purple-yellow alignments into our Hellcat. If we need more reds, there we go on our Hellcat, ready to go. And there we go, we have alignment right there, so regardless of where these 6 get planted on the board, we'll automatically have an extra turn from the convert. That's one pretty nice thing about Sheggra and any of the troops really in the game that spawn a color and then convert it over. As long as they have alignment with that convert, it doesn't even matter where all those gems get spawned because you already know that it's going to get an extra turn. But you can see, yeah, Sheggra is pretty godlike right now. Then it's gonna be a lot of fun using him. Will they nerf it? Oh no, I don't know. I haven't tested it enough yet to see if it's overpowered, but it definitely gets some really nice matches. Sheggra is definitely viable now by a long shot, way more so than what it was before. Previously, Sheggra was mainly just like a support troop. Now you can actually use it as a skull spammer, which is quite revolutionary for it, because it's always had a very low base attack, and Sheggra for almost the entire history of Gems of War has just been a support skull spammer. It's not really something like a Bone Dragon or other troops that you could actually set up front, but it's just always been like an assisting troop. Now it can just tear through everything with the Pyromania, so we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. Probably be using that quite a bit just to mess around with. But anyways, that'll wrap it up for this video. We will be covering all of this event stuff a little bit later. Just wanted to do that into a slightly separate video. I wanted to cover all the troop changes though, of course, in this video, just since it didn't really need its own video. But anyways, that'll wrap it up. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.